Racist boss steals black employee's idea, then loses the deal of a lifetime. How will this story escalate? To find out, watch the video to the end. But first, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to get more stories like this. Cameron Lewis was an ambitious and talented young professional working at Bright Tech Solutions, a mid-sized technology firm known for its competitive environment. Despite his qualifications and impressive track record, Cameron often found himself overlooked and undervalued. His ideas, which could have driven the company forward, were dismissed or, worse, claimed by others, particularly by his manager, Richard Sterling. Richard was a seasoned executive who believed in maintaining the status quo. He wasn't subtle about his biases, and Cameron had been on the receiving end of Richard's dismissive attitude far too many times. But Cameron, fueled by determination and a desire to succeed, kept pushing forward, hoping his efforts would eventually be recognized. The opportunity to shine came during a high-stakes project pitch. Bright Tech had the chance to secure a multimillion-dollar deal with a Fortune 500 company, and Richard called for a brainstorming session with his team. Cameron, who had been working on a revolutionary idea for months, saw this as his moment. He stayed up late every night, fine-tuning his presentation. His concept revolved around an innovative software solution that could streamline operations and cut costs for the client. A proposal that was not only creative but also practical. By the time the meeting arrived, Cameron was confident he had something game-changing to present. As the team gathered in the conference room, Richard stood at the head of the table, exuding his usual air of authority. "All right, let's hear what everyone's got," he said, scanning the room. "We need something big to win this contract." Cameron raised his hand, eager to share. "I've been working on an idea that I think could be a game-changer for the client. If I may..." Richard waved him off impatiently. "All right, go ahead, Cameron, but keep it brief." Despite the dismissive tone, Cameron launched into his presentation. He explained his software solution with clarity and passion, outlining how it addressed the client's specific pain points. The room grew quiet as his colleagues listened intently, their interest piqued. When Cameron finished, there was a moment of silence before one of his teammates spoke up. "That's brilliant, Cameron," she said. "This could really set us apart from the competition." Before Cameron could thank her, Richard interjected. Interesting," he said, feigning deep thought. "But it's missing something. I'll refine it and present it to the executives myself." Cameron's stomach dropped. He had seen this happen before, Richard taking credit for others' work, but this time felt different. This idea was his heart and soul, a culmination of months of effort. "With all due respect, Richard," Cameron began cautiously, "I think it would be best if I presented this directly. After all, I know the concept inside and out." Richard shot him a sharp look. "And I know how to sell it," he replied curtly. Meeting adjourned. The following week, Richard presented Cameron's idea to the executives as his own. Cameron watched from the sidelines, his frustration mounting as Richard took full credit for the concept. The executives were impressed, greenlighting the proposal and instructing the team to prepare for the pitch to the client. Cameron tried to focus on the bigger picture, the company's success, but the injustice gnawed at him. He confided in his colleague, Jenna, who had been supportive throughout. "It's not just about the credit," Cameron told her. "It's about principle. How can we foster innovation if ideas are stolen instead of nurtured?" Jenna nodded sympathetically. "You're right, Cameron, but maybe there's a way to turn this around. What if you quietly prepare a backup plan? Something that's truly yours, just in case." Cameron considered her suggestion. It was risky, but the thought of letting Richard get away with his actions again was unbearable. "You might be onto something," he said, a spark of hope igniting within him. Cameron poured his energy into refining his original idea, adding new layers of innovation that he hadn't shared during the brainstorming session. He worked tirelessly, often staying late at the office after everyone else had left. Jenna helped where she could, offering feedback and encouragement. Meanwhile, Richard basked in the glow of his brilliant concept, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. He prepared for the client pitch with his usual bravado, confident that he would seal the deal and cement his reputation as a visionary leader. The day of the pitch arrived, and the Bright Tech team traveled to the client's headquarters for the presentation. Cameron sat in the conference room, watching as Richard took the stage. The executives from the Fortune 500 company listened politely as Richard unveiled the software solution, but their expressions were hard to read. Midway through the presentation, one of the client's senior executives raised a hand. "This is intriguing," she said, "but it seems incomplete. Do you have any additional data or features to address scalability?" Richard faltered, clearly unprepared for the question. He glanced around the room, his confident facade beginning to crack. Well, that's something we can explore further," he stammered. "Of course, we're flexible and can tailor the solution to your needs." The executive exchanged a glance with her colleagues, skepticism creeping into her expression. Sensing an opportunity, Cameron took a deep breath and spoke up. "If I may," he said, his voice steady but firm. "I've been working on an expanded version of this concept that I believe addresses your concerns. With your permission, I'd like to share it." Richard's face turned red with anger and embarrassment, but the client executives leaned forward, intrigued. "Go ahead," the senior executive said, motioning for Cameron to proceed. Cameron stood and approached the screen, plugging in his laptop. As he presented his refined proposal, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The executive's skepticism gave way to genuine interest as Cameron demonstrated how his solution could be scaled seamlessly, with additional features tailored to the client's needs. By the time he finished, the room was buzzing with excitement. "This is exactly what we've been looking for," the senior executive said, smiling. "Thank you for stepping in, Cameron. Your vision is impressive." Richard sat silently, his jaw clenched as the client executives discussed the next steps. It was clear to everyone in the room that Cameron had saved the pitch and the deal. As the meeting concluded, Cameron felt a mix of relief and triumph. The senior executive from the client company extended her hand to him as they left the conference room. "Mr. Lewis, it's clear you have a deep understanding of not only this concept but also our company's needs," she said. "We're excited to move forward, and I'd like to ensure we work closely with you during the implementation phase." Cameron shook her hand, nodding graciously. "Thank you, ma'am. I look forward to collaborating with you and your team." As the client executives exited, Richard stormed over to Cameron, his face a mix of anger and humiliation. "What the hell was that?" he hissed. "You undermined me in front of the client." Cameron squared his shoulders, refusing to back down. "I stepped in because they needed answers and you didn't have them. This project was my idea from the start, Richard, and you know it. The client deserves the best version of our solution, not a half-baked pitch." Richard glared at him, but before he could respond, Jenna approached, having overheard the exchange. "He's right, Richard," she said firmly. "Cameron saved the deal. You should be thanking him." Unable to argue, Richard muttered something under his breath and stormed out, leaving Cameron and Jenna alone in the conference room. Over the next few weeks, Cameron worked closely with the client company, earning their trust and respect. His ability to adapt and innovate impressed everyone involved, and his leadership skills shone through as he guided the project to completion. Meanwhile, word of what had happened during the pitch began to spread within Bright Tech. Employees who had witnessed Richard's behavior started to speak up, sharing their own experiences of having their ideas dismissed or stolen. The company's HR department launched an internal investigation, and Richard's actions were brought to the attention of senior management. Cameron stayed focused on his work, but he couldn't ignore the shift in the office atmosphere. Colleagues who had once been hesitant to speak out began to rally around him, offering their support and encouragement. Jenna, in particular, became a close ally, often reminding him of how far he had come. "You've shown everyone what real leadership looks like," she told him one evening as they wrapped up a late-night brainstorming session. "You didn't just stand up for yourself. You stood up for all of us." Eventually, the investigation reached its conclusion, and the results were clear. Richard had consistently taken credit for his team's ideas, stifling innovation and undermining morale. Senior management made the decision to remove him from his position, citing his unethical behavior and lack of integrity. When Richard's departure was announced, Cameron felt a wave of conflicting emotions. On one hand, he was relieved to see justice served. On the other, he couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness for the way things had unfolded. He had always believed in the power of collaboration and respect, values that Richard had failed to uphold. Shortly after Richard's exit, Cameron was called into a meeting with the company's CEO, Lisa Harrington. She greeted him warmly, motioning for him to take a seat. "Cameron, I've been following your work on the Fortune 500 project," she began. "It's clear to me and to everyone else that you've been instrumental in its success. I want to personally thank you for stepping up when it mattered most." "Thank you, Ms. Harrington," Cameron replied, humbled by her words. "I'm just glad I could contribute," Lisa smiled. "You've done more than contribute. You've demonstrated leadership, creativity, and resilience, qualities we need more of at Bright Tech. That's why I'd like to offer you a promotion to project manager. It's a role I believe you're more than ready for." Cameron was stunned. He had worked tirelessly for this moment, but hearing the offer still felt surreal. I don't know what to say," he stammered. "Thank you for believing in me. You've earned it," Lisa said. "And I have no doubt you'll continue to make us proud." The promotion was announced company-wide, and Cameron was met with an outpouring of congratulations from his colleagues. For the first time in his career, he felt truly valued and seen for his contributions. As he settled into his new role, Cameron made it his mission to create an environment where everyone felt empowered to share their ideas. He implemented new policies to ensure credit was given where it was due and established mentorship programs to support junior employees. One afternoon, Jenna stopped by Cameron's office with a broad smile on her face. "You've got a visitor," she said, stepping aside to reveal the senior executive from the client company. "Cameron," the executive exclaimed, extending her hand, "I just wanted to personally thank you for the incredible work you've done on our project. The results have exceeded our expectations. It's been a pleasure working with your team," Cameron replied, shaking her hand. "I'm glad we could deliver something that truly meets your needs." The executive nodded. "And I hope this is just the beginning. We'd like to explore a long-term partnership with Bright Tech, and I'd love for you to take the lead on future projects." Cameron's heart swelled with pride. This wasn't just a win for him. It was a win for the company and a testament to the power of integrity and hard work. As the years went on, Cameron's career continued to flourish. He became a respected leader within Bright Tech, known for his ability to inspire and uplift those around him. His story became a source of motivation for others, a reminder that standing up for what's right could lead to meaningful change. Reflecting on his journey, Cameron realized that his greatest triumph wasn't the promotion or the successful project. It was the impact he had made on the people around him. By staying true to his values, he had helped create a workplace where innovation thrived and every voice was heard. And as he looked toward the future, Cameron knew one thing for certain. He would continue to lead with integrity, proving that true success was built on the foundation of respect, collaboration, and unwavering determination. Months after Cameron's promotion, Bright Tech's culture had undergone a transformation. The new mentorship programs were thriving, and employees who once hesitated to voice their ideas were now actively participating in brainstorming sessions. Cameron's open-door policy and commitment to transparency had become the gold standard for leadership within the company. But Cameron didn't stop there. He partnered with Lisa Harrington to develop a company-wide initiative aimed at fostering diversity and inclusion. The initiative, titled Bright Future, focused on creating opportunities for underrepresented groups in the tech industry. This included outreach programs to schools, internships for students from diverse backgrounds, and leadership training for employees seeking to advance their careers. One of the most rewarding aspects of the initiative was a mentorship program specifically for young professionals entering the workforce. Cameron personally mentored several interns, including a brilliant young coder named Malik. Malik reminded Cameron of himself when he was just starting out, driven, talented, and eager to make a difference. But Malik faced his own challenges, including self-doubt and a fear of speaking up in meetings. Cameron made it his mission to help Malik find his voice. During one-on-one sessions, Cameron shared stories from his own journey, emphasizing the importance of perseverance and self-belief. "The world is full of people who will try to underestimate you," he told Malik. But you can't let their opinions define you. Your ideas have value, and you have the power to make an impact. With Cameron's guidance, Malik began to grow more confident. He started contributing to team discussions and even volunteered to present his own project during a company-wide showcase. When the day of the showcase arrived, Malik's presentation was a resounding success, earning praise from both his colleagues and Bright Tech's leadership. Meanwhile, Cameron's professional reputation continued to soar. The successful partnership with the Fortune 500 client led to new opportunities, and Bright Tech began attracting high-profile clients from across the globe. Cameron was often invited to speak at industry conferences, where he shared insights on innovation, leadership, and the power of diversity. During one such conference, Cameron was approached by a familiar face, one of the former executives from the Fortune 500 company. The executive introduced himself as Paul and thanked Cameron for the impact his work had made on their business. Paul said with a chuckle, "I wasn't sure how that meeting was going to go after Richard started his pitch. But the moment you stepped in, I knew we were in good hands. You saved the day." Cameron smiled, grateful for the recognition. "I'm just glad I had the chance to contribute. And I'm even more grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with your team." Paul nodded thoughtfully. "If you ever decide to branch out beyond Bright Tech, let me know. I'd be honored to work with you again." Back at Bright Tech, the success of the Bright Future initiative had caught the attention of the broader tech community. Lisa Harrington received inquiries from other companies interested in implementing similar programs, and she often credited Cameron as the driving force behind the initiative's success. One day, Lisa called Cameron into her office for an important discussion. "Cameron, we've been approached by a national organization that wants to partner with us to expand Bright Future on a larger scale," she explained. "They've seen the impact we've made here, and they believe we can replicate it across the industry." Cameron's eyes widened. "That's incredible," he said. "What would that partnership look like?" "They're proposing a multi-year collaboration to develop resources, host workshops, and create a blueprint for other companies to follow," Lisa replied. "And they want you to take the lead." The weight of the proposal sank in, and Cameron felt a surge of both excitement and responsibility. This was an opportunity to make a lasting impact, not just at Bright Tech but across the entire industry. As Cameron began working on the national expansion of Bright Future, he reflected on how far he had come. The memory of Richard's betrayal still lingered, but it no longer defined him. Instead, it served as a reminder of the resilience and determination that had brought him to this point. One evening, Cameron received a surprising email. It was from Richard, who had been largely absent from the tech scene since his departure from Bright Tech. The email was brief but unexpected. "Dear Cameron, I've been following your success from afar, and I wanted to congratulate you on everything you've achieved. I also wanted to apologize for the way I treated you during our time at Bright Tech. I realize now how wrong I was, and I hope you can forgive me. Best regards, Richard." Cameron stared at the email, a mix of emotions swirling within him. Part of him wanted to dismiss it, but another part recognized the significance of the gesture. He took a deep breath and composed a reply. "Dear Richard, thank you for reaching out. While our experiences at Bright Tech were challenging, I've chosen to focus on the lessons they taught me and the growth they inspired. I appreciate your words and hope you find success in your own journey. Best, Cameron." The expansion of Bright Future proved to be a monumental success. Cameron traveled across the country, meeting with companies, schools, and community organizations to share the initiative's mission. His story resonated with countless individuals, inspiring them to believe in their own potential and the power of collaboration. At a gala celebrating the first year of the national program, Cameron stood before a crowd of supporters, colleagues, and mentor. As he looked out at the sea of faces, he felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. "This journey has been about more than just professional success," he began. "It's been about creating opportunities, breaking down barriers, and showing that everyone has a voice worth hearing. Together, we've proven that diversity isn't just a value. It's a strength." The audience erupted into applause, and Cameron felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had turned a moment of adversity into a movement of empowerment, leaving a legacy that would endure for generations to come. As the applause subsided at the gala, Cameron took a moment to reflect on the milestones he had achieved. His journey had been anything but easy, yet the obstacles he faced only fueled his determination. The Bright Future Initiative was no longer just a program. It was a movement, one that had united people across industries in a shared commitment to inclusivity and innovation. After the gala, Cameron was approached by several attendees eager to share their gratitude and stories of how Bright Future had impacted their lives. Among them was a young woman named Sophia, who had recently completed one of the program's internships. "Mr. Lewis," Sophia began, her voice filled with emotion, "I just wanted to thank you. Bright Future gave me a chance when no one else would. Because of this program, I found a place where I belong, and I'm finally doing work I'm passionate about." Cameron smiled warmly. "That's exactly why we created this program, Sophia. Your success is what makes all of this worthwhile. Keep chasing your dreams. You've got a bright future ahead." As Bright Future continued to grow, so did Cameron's responsibilities. He found himself balancing multiple roles: mentor, advocate, project manager, and public speaker. While the workload was demanding, Cameron thrived on the knowledge that his efforts were making a difference. One day, Cameron received an unexpected phone call from Lisa Harrington. "Cameron, I've got some exciting news," she said. "You've been nominated for the National Diversity and Innovation Leadership Award." Cameron was stunned. "An award? I don't even know what to say." Lisa chuckled. "You don't have to say anything, Cameron. Just know that you've earned this recognition. The ceremony is next month, and I think you'll find yourself in good company." The nomination was a testament to Cameron's hard work and dedication, but he remained humble. To him, the award wasn't about personal accolades. It was about shining a spotlight on the values he championed. The weeks leading up to the ceremony were a whirlwind of activity. Cameron worked tirelessly to prepare his acceptance speech, determined to use the platform to amplify the voices of those who had inspired him along the way. When the day of the ceremony arrived, Cameron stood backstage, nervously adjusting his tie. Jenna, who had become one of his closest friends and fiercest supporters, joined him with an encouraging smile. "You've got this, Cameron," she said. "Just speak from the heart. That's what got you here in the first place." As Cameron's name was announced, he stepped onto the stage to a standing ovation. The weight of the moment wasn't lost on him. Standing before a room full of industry leaders, he felt the enormity of what he had accomplished. "Thank you," Cameron began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "This award isn't just for me. It's for everyone who has ever been underestimated, overlooked, or told they don't belong. It's for the mentors, colleagues, and friends who believed in me when I needed it most." He paused, scanning the audience. Bright Future is more than a program. It's a promise to create a world where talent is recognized for its potential, not limited by prejudice. Together, we can build a future that celebrates diversity as our greatest strength. The applause was deafening as Cameron stepped down from the podium. As he returned to his seat, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, not just for the award, but for the journey that had brought him to this point. Despite his success, Cameron never forgot where he started. He continued to mentor young professionals, often sharing the lessons he had learned along the way. One of his mentors, Malik, had recently been promoted to a leadership role within Bright Tech, a milestone that filled Cameron with pride. "Look at you," Cameron teased during one of their catch-ups. "I knew you had it in you." Malik grinned. "I had a great mentor. You taught me that being a leader isn't about having all the answers. It's about empowering others to find theirs." Cameron nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "And you're doing exactly that, Malik. I can't wait to see what you accomplish next." But not everyone was as thrilled with Cameron's rise. There were whispers within the industry, critics who dismissed his achievements as mere luck or questioned his ability to sustain his momentum. Cameron heard the murmurs but refused to let them deter him. "If people are doubting you," he told Jenna one evening, "it just means you're doing something they didn't think was possible. And that's exactly why I'm going to keep pushing forward." Jenna nodded. "You're right. And for every critic out there, there are 100 people who believe in you. Don't forget that. As the years went by, Cameron's impact continued to grow. Bright Future had become a model for diversity and inclusion in the tech industry, and Cameron was frequently invited to share his expertise with organizations around the world. His story had become a source of inspiration, a reminder that resilience and integrity could overcome even the most challenging obstacles. One evening, as Cameron reflected on his journey, he received an email that brought tears to his eyes. It was from Sophia, the former intern who had once thanked him for giving her a chance. "Dear Cameron," the email began, "I just wanted to share some exciting news. I've been offered a leadership position at a major tech company, and I owe it all to the opportunities Bright Future gave me. Your guidance changed my life, and I hope to pay it forward by helping others the way you helped me. Thank you for believing in me." Cameron smiled, his heart full. Sophia's success was a testament to the power of mentorship and the ripple effect of kindness. In that moment, he knew that his work had truly made a difference. As Cameron read Sophia's email for the third time, he leaned back in his chair, allowing himself a rare moment of pride. It wasn't just about the work he'd done or the accolades he'd received. It was about the lives he'd touched. People like Sophia, Malik, and countless others who now had opportunities they never thought possible. The next morning, Cameron walked into the Bright Tech office with a renewed sense of purpose. He was greeted warmly by his colleagues, many of whom now viewed him as more than just a leader. He was a symbol of what was possible when one refused to back down in the face of adversity. As he settled into his office, Lisa Harrington stopped by with an excited look on her face. "Cameron," she began, "I just got off a call with one of our international partners. They're launching a new initiative in Europe, and they want you to head it." Cameron raised an eyebrow. "Europe? That's incredible. What's the initiative?" Lisa smiled. "It's essentially an extension of Bright Future, but on a global scale. They want to implement programs in underserved communities, create mentorship opportunities, and establish a network of innovators who can collaborate across borders." Cameron's mind raced with possibilities. This was an opportunity to take everything he'd learned and apply it on a much larger stage. "When would this start?" he asked. "Early next year," Lisa replied. "It's a big step, Cameron, but I know you're ready for it." As the weeks passed, Cameron began preparing for his new role. He met with teams from Europe, learning about the unique challenges and opportunities in their respective regions. The work was demanding, but Cameron thrived on the energy and potential of what they were building. During one of his last days at the Bright Tech headquarters, Cameron decided to host an informal gathering for his colleagues. It was a chance to reflect on their shared journey and express his gratitude for the support they had shown him. "None of this would have been possible without all of you," Cameron said as he addressed the group. "Together, we've built something that's bigger than any one person. A culture of collaboration, respect, and innovation. As I step into this new role, I'll carry everything we've accomplished here with me." Jenna, who had been Cameron's unwavering ally from the beginning, raised her glass in a toast. "To Cameron," she said, "for showing us what true leadership looks like, and for inspiring us to be better every single day." The room erupted into cheers, and Cameron felt a wave of emotion. He knew he was leaving Bright Tech in capable hands, but the thought of saying goodbye to his team was bittersweet. Cameron's move to Europe marked the beginning of a new chapter in his career. He quickly immersed himself in the work, meeting with local leaders, community organizations, and young professionals eager to make their mark. The initiative, now called Global Future, aimed to break down barriers and create a truly inclusive global tech community. One of the first projects Cameron spearheaded was a mentorship program for underprivileged youth in rural areas. He traveled to small towns and villages, sharing his story and encouraging young people to pursue careers in technology. During one of these visits, Cameron met a teenage girl named Elena. Despite her natural talent for coding, Elena had been told time and again that her dreams were unrealistic. Cameron saw a spark in her and took her under his wing, helping her navigate the challenges she faced. "You have so much potential, Elena," he told her during one of their sessions. "Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The world needs your voice, your ideas, and your talent." Elena's journey mirrored Cameron's own in many ways, and her determination inspired him to push even harder. Under his mentorship, she secured a scholarship to a prestigious tech school and began building a future that once seemed out of reach. Back in the city, Cameron worked to expand Global Future's reach, partnering with companies and governments to implement policies that promoted diversity and inclusion. His efforts caught the attention of international media, and he was often invited to speak at conferences and events. During one such event, Cameron was approached by a journalist who wanted to write a feature on his life and work. "Your story is extraordinary," the journalist said. "What drives you to keep going, even when the odds are against you?" Cameron thought for a moment before replying. "It's the people I meet along the way," he said. "The students, the interns, the colleagues who just needed someone to believe in them. Knowing that I can make a difference in their lives. That's what keeps me going." As the years went by, Cameron's impact continued to grow. Global Future became a beacon of hope for aspiring professionals around the world, and Cameron's name became synonymous with resilience and innovation. One day, while reviewing the results of a recent program, Cameron received a call from Lisa Harrington. Though they hadn't spoken in some time, their bond remained strong. "Just calling to check in," Lisa said warmly. "I've been following your work with Global Future, and I couldn't be prouder of what you've accomplished." "Thank you, Lisa," Cameron replied. "I couldn't have done any of this without the foundation we built together at Bright Tech." "You've taken it to a whole new level," Lisa said, "and I can't wait to see what you do next." As Cameron reflected on his journey, he realized that his greatest achievements weren't the awards or accolades. It was the lives he had touched, the barriers he had broken, and the legacy he was building. His story was a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of integrity, and the transformative impact of believing in oneself and others. Cameron's journey wasn't over, but he knew that whatever the future held, he would face it with the same determination and hope that had brought him this far. And as he looked out at the world he had helped shape, he felt a profound sense of purpose and gratitude. As Global Future continued to thrive, Cameron found himself at the forefront of a global movement. His name had become synonymous with innovation, equity, and transformation in the tech industry. Every program launched, every initiative undertaken carried with it the echoes of his original mission, to create opportunities for those who had been left out of the conversation for far too long. Cameron had learned to navigate the complexities of his high-profile role with grace, but he always made time to connect with the people who mattered most, the ments, the innovators, and the dreamers who were the heart of Global Future. He knew that their stories were the true measure of the initiative's success. One evening, as Cameron prepared for an upcoming conference, he received an unexpected call from Malik. Now a senior leader at Bright Tech, Malik had been one of Cameron's first ments and remained a close friend and confidant. "Hey, Cameron," Malik began, his voice filled with excitement. "I've got some incredible news. Bright Tech just announced that they're launching a new division focused entirely on social impact projects, and they want me to lead it." Cameron's face broke into a wide smile. "That's amazing, Malik. I couldn't think of anyone better for the job. You're going to do incredible things." Malik chuckled. "I learned from the best. Honestly, I wouldn't be here without you. You showed me what it means to lead with purpose." The conversation with Malik served as a reminder of the ripple effect Cameron's work had created. The people he had mentored were now leaders in their own right, carrying forward the principles of integrity, collaboration, and empowerment that Cameron had instilled in them. At the conference the next day, Cameron shared this story during his keynote address. He spoke about the power of mentorship and the importance of creating spaces where everyone could thrive. "Success isn't just about what we achieve individually," Cameron told the audience. "It's about the impact we have on others and the legacy we leave behind. When we lift each other up, we all rise together." The audience erupted into applause, and Cameron felt a familiar sense of gratitude. His journey had been filled with challenges, but every obstacle had led him to this moment. As Global Future entered its 10th year, Cameron decided it was time to reflect on the initiative's impact. He commissioned a comprehensive report that detailed the program's achievements, from the number of mentorships completed to the diversity metrics of the companies that had partnered with them. The results were staggering. Global Future had reached millions of people across dozens of countries, helping to close opportunity gaps and foster a culture of inclusion. The report also included testimonials from participants whose lives had been changed by the initiative. One testimonial in particular stood out to Cameron. It was from Elena, the young coder he had mentored years ago. Now a successful entrepreneur, Elena had founded her own tech startup focused on sustainability. Global Future gave me the confidence to believe in my dreams, Elena wrote. Cameron Lewis taught me that my voice mattered, and I've carried that lesson with me every step of the way. I'm proud to be part of a movement that's changing the world. Cameron read Elena's words with a lump in his throat. She was proof that the work they were doing mattered, that it had the power to transform not just careers but lives. As the years went on, Cameron began to think about the future of Global Future and his role within it. He had built something extraordinary, but he knew that the true test of leadership was the ability to step back and let others take the reins. At a board meeting with Global Future's leadership team, Cameron shared his thoughts. "It's been the honor of my life to lead this initiative," he said. "But I believe the time has come for me to step aside and make room for new voices, new perspectives, and new ideas." The room fell silent as his words sank in. Jenna, who had joined Global Future as a senior advisor, was the first to speak. "You've built a legacy, Cameron," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "And while we'll miss your leadership, we know that the values you've instilled in us will guide us forward." Cameron spent the next year preparing for the transition, mentoring his successor and ensuring that Global Future would continue to thrive without him. When the day of his departure arrived, he was met with a standing ovation from his colleagues and partners. In his farewell speech, Cameron reflected on the journey that had brought him to this moment. "What started as a personal mission became a global movement," he said. "And while my role is changing, my commitment to this cause remains as strong as ever. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter for all of us." With more time on his hands, Cameron began to explore new ways to make an impact. He started writing a memoir, detailing his experiences and the lessons he had learned along the way. The book, titled Bright Futures, Building a World Where Everyone Belongs, quickly became a bestseller, inspiring readers around the globe. Cameron also dedicated himself to philanthropic work, using his platform to support initiatives in education, healthcare, and social justice. He traveled to underserved communities, offering mentorship and resources to help others achieve their dreams. One evening, as Cameron reflected on his life, he received a letter from Richard, the former boss who had once tried to undermine him. Richard had spent years reflecting on his mistakes and had since become an advocate for ethical leadership. "Dear Cameron," the letter began, "I've been following your journey, and I'm in awe of what you've accomplished. You turned adversity into opportunity, and in doing so, you've changed countless lives. I'm sorry for the role I played in trying to hold you back, and I hope one day we can meet again, so I can express my gratitude for the lessons you taught me." Cameron folded the letter with a small smile. Life had come full circle, and while he couldn't change the past, he took solace in knowing that even those who had once been adversaries could learn and grow. As Cameron's story continued to unfold, one thing remained constant: his unwavering belief in the power of people. Whether mentoring a young coder, speaking at a conference, or writing his next book, Cameron carried with him the lessons of his journey: the importance of integrity, the value of collaboration, and the transformative power of hope. His legacy was more than just a program or an initiative. It was a reminder that even in the face of doubt and adversity, one person could spark a movement that would change the world.